Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Soul Tie Saturdays. I'm your host, Karla Townsend, along with my beautiful co-host, Yevette Thomas.
Welcome, welcome.
And we thank you for coming and joining us today on our new show. We have a very good episode today. So what we want you to do is we want you to call your family, your friends, aunts and uncles and them, co-workers, whoever you know, because this is a good show.
Nieces, nephews.
This is going to be something that we all deal with, Yvette. So in order to do that, we want you to like, we want you to share. Those of you who are just coming in, and we want you to subscribe to our pages. Facebook at Breaking Chains, the number 3. Also on Instagram, we want you to subscribe or like and share at Breaking Chains, the number 9. YouTube at Breaking Chains Ministries TV. But Yvette, we also have a new site that you can also like as well. And we're on Threads. Yes. And you can do Breaking Chains, the number 9 at threads.net. And you can like and you can also share our content. Also Threads, we also put on a lot of inspirationals as well. So definitely we want you to follow us on all of our sites. So Yvette, today is going to be very special, especially for you, definitely for you. And it's also going to be special for you too. So we're going to get started. Today, we're going to talk about a topic that affects a lot of us. Talking about soul ties. Everybody thinks soul ties deal with relationships. Mm-hmm. But a soul tie can be anything. You can have a soul tie with anything. Many of us don't think we have soul ties with food. Oh, yeah. We love food. We have a
relationship.
We got a relationship with food. Oh, y'all laughing in the audience. Oh, okay. Yes, we have soul ties with food, and Yvette is something because many cultures, including the African American culture, it doesn't matter when we come together, whether it be holiday, wedding, just to get together, go out or whatever. It's all centered around food. Mm-hmm. And sometimes even if we just looking at TV, it's about food. Looking at a good movie, you sitting there at the house, you trying to find out what snacks is in the house, what kind of popcorn you got, what chips you got. You got some dip. Food. You got wings. Oh, somebody out there, you know you like them wings. My favorite is lemon pepper. Come on now.
Yes.
And if you don't have lemon pepper, salt and vinegar. Don't judge me, judge yourself. Yeah. I'm just saying food. Yeah. It's all about the food. Yeah. So our topic today, because this is a real thing, because we love food. We love food.
I've been accused of being a foodie a time or two.
Ooh, you ain't by yourself.
Yeah.
So our topic today is the struggle is real. We're going to talk about dealing with obesity and weight loss. Oh, that's how it's going to affect us. Many of us have been affected. The corporation has expanded more than we wanted to. It's about food.
And let me just put that out there, because I'll say it, and I've said it before. We really cannot blame COVID for the expansion of the corporation.
I blame COVID.
I like to put the blame on COVID. We still trying to get off our quote unquote COVID weight. Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Maybe COVID babies. Even don't judge me. I said they grown, but I'm still getting rid of baby weight.
It's amazing, but it's amazing how much focus can be put on food, on weight, And, to some extent, it's necessary, though, to have a healthy conversation about it. So I guess that's why we're talking about it today.
We're joking about it, but this is going to be very serious because we're going to step on some toes, and even my own. That's the reason why mine's covered. Okay. But it's sad to say many Americans struggle with food and obesity. As of September 2023, nationally, 41.9% of adults have obesity. Black and Latino adults have the highest obesity rates at 49.9%, per an article from Trust for America's Health. Based on an article written by Forbes, as of January 2024, 1 in 6 youths have issues with obesity and dealing with food.
Yeah. Sad.
So we can go on. So we know that there is an issue about our relationship with food. So we can assert with statistics showing an increase in obesity. It's not just in America, but it's also around the world. This issue with obesity and our relationship with food, it can cause many issues such as type 2 diabetes, cardiovascular disease, and different types of cancers. Now, I want to be clear, food is not the problem. Food is not the problem.
It can be a part of it, but it's not.
It's not the problem. The problem is what's going on within us that causes us to overeat. There are many reasons for overeating, such as boredom, anxiety, depression, yo-yo dieting, stress, eating too late, and also, let's get real, we really with other people, and they eating. Do you have some? Eating when you see other people eat. So the list can continue and go on. It just depends on what your issue is. We have to identify what our specific issue is in relationship with food as to why we overeat and why we are increasing in weight. And a lot of times, I hate to say it, the relationship with food is not healthy. It stems from something else going on within your life. So, today, what we're going to talk about, we already said where the struggle is real, because the struggle is real, dealing with obesity and weight loss. But our very own co-host, Yevette Thomas, I'm going to interview her today as she shares with us about her struggle with weight loss and her relationship with food. But I would like to say, honey, you look good.
Thank you.
You will.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
So Yvette, let's begin about your journey.
Okay.
So let's talk about your relationship with food, and what triggers you had, on your journey.
Okay. Well, so my weight has been an issue for me for a lot of my life, not all of my life, because when I was a young girl, I was really, really, really skinny. The pictures, if you ever look at my Facebook page, you'll see some of the pictures where I look really, really like malnourished, thin. That did not last very long in my life, let me just say that. But then when I became a teenager, hit puberty, I gained a lot of weight, and that's when that began to be an issue for me, and that's been a part of my entire life. I'm I'm not going to tell y'all how old I am today, but it's been quite a journey. I was very active in school, so I dropped the weight and was, like I went through a period where I was a little overweight, and then I guess going through puberty, I dropped the weight and got back down to, I went through school as like a size 5 or whatever. And then as I got older, started having children. I only have 2, so I can't really blame the children. But my relationship with food, I had always been skinny, so I could eat whatever I wanted to eat. Now, as as I got older, like I used to be a really finicky eater, but as I got older, started exploring that and liking food and everything that we do. We have family gatherings, food. You go on a date, food. Everything, birthday, food, Christmas. Food is food everywhere. And so, and like you said, the it's not really the food; it's the relationship with food. And I have struggled again. Like I said, I began to struggle with my weight, and I attribute my grandmother to a period of time where I made a decision to make some changes in my life, and lost a lot of weight. Got back very active again, and started teaching jazzercise, became an instructor, and was running, just doing everything. But I did make changes to my diet for a little while, and that's the rub. You make the changes. You can make changes and lose weight, but if you don't maintain the changes, then of course you're gonna have problem with weight again if you don't make any significant changes to your diet. So I did that, and then of course, like I said, I'm not blaming COVID, but then after COVID, when COVID hit, no activity. Now I will say this: I could have exercised every day during COVID, because I was a jazzercise instructor. I have all the tools. I have everything that I could have continued to be active. I didn't have to have people to do it. It was offered online. I didn't have any excuse. But it was during that time, though, that I realized, and I gained a lot of weight during COVID. But it wasn't because of, of course it was, the inactivity contributed to it, but it was during that time that I realized that I was using food as a crutch. And I can recognize now that I'm sometimes an emotional eater. And just like you said, people eat for a lot of different reasons. You eat when you hurt. You eat when you sad. You eat when you bored. You eat, if you don't have
something filling a void,
the tools, right? And if you don't have, so I suffered with depression. I had depression. I had anxiety, and all these different things going on. And that was the first thing that I decided to go. This was right at the end of COVID. I decided to seek help from a weight loss doctor in reference to, because my weight, of course, gaining the weight caused a whole lot of other health issues, blood pressure, cholesterol. I was told that I was pre-diabetic. So I was like, okay, I got to do something. And then, of course, my physical body started having issues with my knees, feet, you name it. I was having problems. And so I decided to seek the help of a weight loss doctor. And the first thing she wanted to talk about was my emotional health. I'm like, what does that got to do with my weight? What does that got to do with my weight?
So you talked about your limitations that the weight caused you, as far as with your knees and your blood pressure, and you were pre-diabetic. So let's explore the part you just mentioned as far as your emotional health. How was that affecting your relationship with food?
Well, I mean, like I said, you being an emotional eater, you eat when you sad, you eat when you happy, you eat whatever. Like, I'm not the person who, when I get upset, lose my appetite. That's not me. You know, I'm going in the refrigerator because I need some
Comfort.
relief. I need some. So if I eat that cookie, if I eat that ice cream, if I eat whatever it is, you know, whatever your food of choice is, whatever it was, then, you know, I had some momentary comfort from that, right? But it wasn't until I met with that particular doctor that she began to have me, it woke up my mind about, okay, so she's talking about my emotional health. And of course, I'm looking at her like, I just write me a prescription so I can lose some weight. That's, I mean, that was my mindset at the time. Just write me a prescription. Let me get these pounds off me, and that's going to help my emotional health. That's going to help my emotional health, right? Because I just want to lose these XYZ number of pounds that I want to lose. But it really did spark something in me to begin to think about why I'm having this struggle. And one of the things that that's struck a nerve with me is that a lot of times we struggle, and anybody who has a struggle with weight, no matter what your size is, because there are people who are thin and they still struggle. They still have this struggle.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. It's like a private secret thing. And for me, the reason why I wanted to talk about it is because I don't want to continue, like, it just like it feeds it when you just keep it to yourself and then you keep it private. And because I know that a lot of people struggle, but there's really no outlet, because we know we see the media today. We see the cruelty on the internet, on so all the social media avenues. We see that every magazine, you know, everybody, we have this notion that everybody is supposed to be thin, and everybody, and it's really, for me, where I was fixated on a scale number. And I was fixated on the fact that, yeah, I want to be thin. I want to be thin too. But that's changing for me, because it's more to it than that. And you get, when you really start to be mindful about it and think about it, especially, you know, the journey that I've been on, where I really had to face, you know, and it reminds me of that movie, movie title, What's Eating Gilbert Grape. But so in my mind, I'm thinking, well, what's eating me? What is it that's causing me to keep turning to food as a
An outlet.
an outlet? Mm-hmm.
Let's go here. There's something you mentioned. Let's go here with being people overeating and overweight. A lot of times, because we have a lot of cruel people in the world, and you're right, social media, movies, magazines, especially when we were coming up, if you were not the perfect size 6, you're not, it makes you feel like you're not pretty, beautiful,
Yeah.
or whatever. And alongside that, with women, if you didn't have long hair, no,
Yeah.
I don't. Don't even talk about my
Don't
hair.
talk about my hair now. Look, you know.
I'm just saying. I look good with this short cut. Don't worry about it. But but I mean, seriously, when we were coming up, and even now today, you are not pretty or good enough or appealing, that's what I want, appealing enough if you're not a certain size. And then if you are not necessarily overweight, but if you have some muscle tone to you, because a lot of people are not necessarily what we call as fat. They might be muscular. I consider myself muscular because I used to lift weights. However, you are told that you get picked on, or they make little snide remarks based on what they, and it's always people that they big too. I'm like, why you talking about me?
Listen.
And you looking like you look. But at the time, come on, at the time when it's being said, you're not thinking, oh, well, you look like that, you know, yourself, but it resonates. One thing I want to say, whatever size you may be, if you're not, there's always something within that if you do not love yourself, if you don't love the way you look, because no one can define you. Do not put yourself in someone else's hands like that. And a lot of times we do.
Oh, absolutely. Like, as I have been able to unpack some of the reasons for my struggle. Like, and when I was coming up in my younger years, okay, so for me, my grandmother's hippie, right? So I have hips, and I developed them very early. And so the comments that were made about me and my hips, you know, caused me to have a little complex about it. So for years, I dressed in a way that I was always trying to minimize and trying to hide. Like, real talk, I had hips and the behind before BBLs were famous, okay? So, but it wasn't a positive thing for me. It was always, you know, I felt like I had to be careful the way I dressed because I didn't want to bring attention to that, which nowadays is completely a different dynamic. Yeah. And now you have people who are, you know, they're paying money and having surgeries, and that's a whole nother thing. But those things, like the comments that people made, and then even as a young woman, whenever I went to my grandmother's house, because after I had my kids, of course, I gained weight and I was bigger than I always was. I wasn't a size 7 anymore. And whenever I went to visit my grandmother, and I love my grandmother, but she would, you know, ask me, well, how much weight have you gained? How much do you weigh? Or you see people that you haven't seen in a while and they say, oh my God, you gained so much weight. Like, I don't have a mirror that I can see when I look at it how much weight I gained. You know, the comments about weight. And I used to be guilty of that. You know, you see people you haven't seen in a long time, oh my God, you done got so big. You know, and so now in my recent years of struggle, okay, yeah, I did the work, I lost the weight, and then as a fitness instructor, and then here I am now after COVID, and again, I'm not blaming COVID now, let me just put that out there, but after COVID, and then feeling like, you know, when you see people and they make the comments, because their expectation now is to see Yvette, the fitness instructor, and at the weight that I was at, you know, it was hard. It was like I didn't want to go anywhere. Like after being, coming out from being shut in for COVID, it was hard because now I look different, you know. I look different, and some people just will tell you, you know, to your face. You know, and so that was a part of my struggle. I had, you know, of course I struggled in the past, but then here now, the culture is so different. It's like we're while my weight was important, my health is more important.
And that's where we want to go.
My health is more important. And that's what, that's where I am now, where I've come to a place where I want to be fit, I want to be healthy, and it's not just about a number on a scale.
And I think that's the thing. And one thing, even in our viewing audience, you need to understand, we have different body frames and body structures. Everybody's not going to be a size 5. Everybody's not going to be a size 10 or the 14. You can be a size 20 and still be healthy. Mm-hmm. And the reason why I say that is because you can be active, healthy. I mean, come on, let's look at Liz.
Yes.
I'm not judging the girl. Liz, I gotta go there. Lizzo is huge, but the girl moved.
Mm-hmm. And she's lost weight recently, but and it's really again getting back to my struggle, mm-hmm. and realizing that I am more than a number on the scale. And but at the same time, my focus, I want to be able to do to live my life and
live longer
and then be of service to someone else.
Yeah.
If I'm unhealthy and I'm having all kinds of health issues, tired and lethargic and don't want to do anything because of my weight, I'm overweight, I'm not feeling well, then I can't get out and serve. I can't be of assistance to someone else if I'm struggling like that. And so that's why it was important for me to get to a healthy place. Yes, I'm losing weight, but I'm also focusing on getting to a healthy place in my life, and not just I'm not stopping at the number on the scale. I am dealing with the emotional parts of it, because that's where it gets to the relationship with food. I know that one of my prayers is, Lord, help me to change my relationship with food, so I'm not living to eat, but I eat to live. Because food is not bad.
No, food is
not bad. And we know that if we, I've been through all the struggles where I cut all the carbs out of my diet. I done did every fad diet you could think of, but now I'm taking a more holistic approach. I don't want to do those things and receive a result for a short term. I want long-term life change. And a part of that is really, how we have a tendency to have areas of our lives we want to leave God out of. That was an area that I was trying to do on my own. And it took for me to realize that I can't do it on my own. I cannot do it without him. I can't do anything without him. And so that's a part, I'm bringing God into that struggle. And it has it's still a struggle, but I'm not struggling alone, because I'm bringing him into it by, being realistic about, what's healthy and what's not. What's healthy for me may not be healthy for someone else.
Right.
But, really getting to a place where my focus is not so much on food. You know what I'm saying? That I don't get up in the morning like, what am I going to eat? 10 o'clock, what am I going to eat? That's how, that's,
or after church. Oh, you sitting in church. You sitting in church. You think about food.
What we going to eat?
But that's how we do.
What we going to eat? What are we eating? Everything. What are we eating? I had a physical instructor, trainer, asked me a question about what did I like to do. And every question I answered had something to do with food. And he was like, okay, do you see a pattern here? And I was like, oh, did you just call me out? But what he said was true. I was like, oh, everything that we do has food involved. So I'm trying to change that narrative in my life so that food, it just doesn't have to be centered around food. Food can be involved, but food is not the.
It's your choice.
Yeah.
Even though food may be there, the choices that you pick of
Right.
food that you eat
Right.
was right for you.
Right.
That's good. That's real good.
And I'll tell you, I did, and I want to share this part of it. It is okay to say, hey, I need help. Like I told you before, I sought a medical weight loss doctor legitimately at Wake Med. That's where my doctors are. And I began to go and see her. And then, I literally had my name on a schedule to go to a doctor to see if I was a candidate for bariatric surgery, and then I canceled it because I was like, no, I don't. I know I need help, but I don't want to go that extreme. So in August of last year, I did have a procedure. It is called the endoscopic sleeve gastroplasty, ESG. They don't call it a surgery, but hey. Anyway, I did have this procedure. It's less invasive than the gastric sleeve surgery. So I did have this procedure, and the whole point was for it to shrink my stomach, but not through cutting it away. It's just kind of sewn. It was done at True You Weight Loss. Go Dr. McGowan. A shameless plug. I really like them. I like the group. I like the entire staff. They've been really great. Because now I'm in this process. I've lost a significant amount of weight. I'm nowhere near where my goal is. But even with this, the struggle is still real. I still have to make better choices. While I cannot eat as much as I used to, doesn't mean I don't want to. You know what I'm saying? My body changed, my brain did not. So that's the works. That's the works that I have to continuously do to change my mind about food and my relationship with food, which is why that is the prayer that I pray. And my scripture, I had to write it down, 1 Corinthians 10:23, where Paul was saying everything is permissible, but not everything is expedient. And that's the reminder that I remind myself, and because he goes on and say, after that, everything is permissible, but I will be mastered by nothing. And I was like, wow, because, we get into this mode where I gotta have things that I used to say I gotta have my coffee. I still got a little struggle with that, but you have things that you want to eat that you say you have to have, but do you have to have it? And if you have it, is it something that's going to help you toward what you're trying to accomplish or not? And those are the things that I have to think about. I don't always get it right. I will be the first person to tell you I don't always get it right, but at least now I am mindful of it, and I'm mindful of it, and it makes a difference, because instead of going weeks and weeks and weeks without thinking about what I'm doing, what I'm putting in my hand that's going into my mouth, I have to think about it every day. I have to think about it because, my body's different now. So, yeah.
So before we close, What would you like to share with our viewing audience regarding if anybody's struggling with weight loss?
What I would like to say is, again, it is okay to seek professional help. There's nothing wrong. There is no shame in that. And I think a part of my struggle was the fact that I felt so much shame about it because, sometimes you start feeling like, well, you should know better. And that's where I got the point where you know how to eat right, you know how to exercise. And I will say this, you cannot out exercise a bad diet. If you're not eating the right things,
Say that for the
you
people
can
in the
do all the
balcony.
exercise in the world, because I've been there and I've done it, and you're not going to lose weight. I'm still in that same struggle because some days I want to I'll eat right, and some days I don't want to eat right. But still in that struggle, give yourself some grace. That's number one. And remember, there should not be any shame in it. It is important for us to take care of ourselves and take care of our bodies. We only get one.
That's right.
And but if you've found yourself going in the wrong direction, it's okay to stop and go in a different direction. You don't have to stay in that same place. And there's help out there, and there are people who are willing, that's what they do, is help people with that struggle. Because when you have weight issues, then there are other things that come along with it that we really, we're losing people. Heart disease, diabetes,
cancer,
kidney disease, all these different things. And, and you see people who live lives that look like they're healthy and they end up with some type of disease. It's not that we control the things that we can't control. And that's what it's about. You control, because we can't worry about the uncontrollables, so you don't know. But it's okay to get assistance and get help to get you on the right path and change your minds, because it starts with the mind.
Mindset.
And my nutritionist that I spoke with, she told me, she said, Yvette, your body's changed, but your mind has not changed. That's the work that I'm doing now. And that's the process that I'm in now, so that I'm not using it as a crutch anymore, and so that I can have a healthy relationship with food.
Well, I would like to thank you, my beautiful co-host, for sharing your testimony today with your struggle with weight loss, because I know plenty of our viewers, including myself, have been on diets, struggled with weight loss, wanting to look a certain way, because we want to appeal to people, like we all, they want us to look like.
Yeah.
And that's one thing that is a struggle with me. Is something that you said. Now this is actual struggle with me, as far as how I look. I have to be okay how I look. I cannot look how someone thinks that I should look.
That's right.
Because even if I'm losing weight or whatever I deem to do, I'm still not going to look like someone would want me to.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it might not be my build. In other words, you need to love yourself. It is an emotional journey dealing with food, weight loss. That's an emotional journey, and it's a physical journey.
And we're actually getting ready to do a study about image, and we have to remember that we are created in the image of God. And this study is about restoring our mindsets to the way God sees us versus what the world says.
Come on now.
Because when you think about it, when we're looking in that mirror, what are we seeing? Are we seeing who God created, or are we seeing and judging ourselves based on what the world is saying?
And on that note, as we end, and I'm glad she brought that because perfectly Psalms 139:14 says it very well. It tells us that we are fearfully and wonderfully made.
Yes.
God predestined what you would be and look like before you were formed and before you were born. However, we only have one body, and we need to take care of it because it is our temple.
Yes.
So to take care of your temple, you must love it. And you must first love yourself. That is the key, to love yourself. Remember, we are breaking chains to restore lives. Yvette, thank you so much. I love you. I know our audience and our viewing audience loves you. And you look gorgeous.
Thank you. Thank you.
So thank you all for joining us today.
Thank you so
We'll
much.
see you next time.